All right. Yeah, I want to talk about collecting. I want to talk about two things actually today. One is being collecting, and one is being collaborating, and both are going to be instrumentally important for the future of music. Hopefully, most of you know what this is. It's a record store. It's where we used to go to gather, talk about music, buy records. It's where we used our fingers to slide over the vinyl records. You had this heady aroma of vinyl in the air, and you were a collector, right? You went home, you talked to your dealer, you were excited about listening to new records, and it's also that place which was not in the cloud, right? And this guy, right? He's what we would call an endangered species now, because he's a collector. He loves collecting vinyl records. May that also be CDs, because if it's a collectible item, it's something which is dear to your heart. It's something that you make a connection with. It's because you love the artist. It's because you like the lyrics. It's because you went to a concert and you went home with a record. It's like a digital souvenir. It reminds you of a time where you had a great experience with that artist. And I want to emphasize on that buying physical music and talking about it built relationships. It made friends. It made you part of a clique, for instance. Because through music, you were meeting new people. You were building memories. If you go to a wedding or if you go to a birthday, you know, music is always there. It never goes away. It's your companion. It's part of who we are, and it's also part of what drives us as a human being. And the average listener consumes music, right? Try to reflect on yourself also, but does not interact with the artist. So we've got Spotify that we listen to. We've got our playlists that we go on road trips. We listen to them. They are companion, but sometimes we also find ourselves listening to new artists, and we say, that's pretty cool, sounds really good. But we don't talk about, okay, what is that artist? Where do they come from? How did they create that music? What's their name? It's just a sound in our head, which was nice, but it's passing to the next artist on the playlist. But the thing is, there's a basic human need to connect, and that's ingrained in our DNA. It's part of who we are, and I think we also have the need to connect to music, which is not going to go away. I just believe we forgot about it. It's a part of us that forgot about it, and we lost that connection to a certain point where we're not collectors anymore. We're listeners, but we're not acting on our emotions. Anything beyond listening to a stream or purchasing a t-shirt in H&M, like Nirvana, and we're wearing it. We're not thinking about the band so much anymore. It's a fashion item, sort of as well. But the thing is, like, music is all around, right? It's just not on our minds, and we don't talk about it with our friends so much anymore. We don't go out there and say, okay, today I'm gonna discover new artists. I'm gonna go to the record store. I'm gonna scan through the albums. I'm gonna take my time to invest and find something which I can deeply connect to anymore. But we can really change that, because the thing is, the collector's market is worth 360 billion per year, and the music market is 25.9 billion per year. Now you need to also get put into account 65% of those 25.9 are streams. And the thing is, people collect a lot of odd things, like air sickness bag from around the world. I didn't know such a thing would exist as a collectibles. Celebrity hair that goes for thousands of euros, apparently. Hot sauce. Nails. This one I like, but do not disturb signs from hotels. Does that have value? And the last one, toilet paper from around the world, that might have value if we have another push in the pandemic, and we go to the supermarket and there's not so much toilet paper anymore. That might come in handy. But what I'm trying to say with that is there has to be room. If we collect things like nails or toilet paper, there has to be room for music as a collectible. And NFTs can help tie that intimate bond. It's not just you're buying a record or you're listening to a stream, but you're visible to that artist, and that artist also appreciates you. And it redefines your relationship. I want to emphasize on this one. This is a platform called sound.xyz. They do a really good job in elevating that collectibles mindset. Because you can go, as a fan, you can go on the platform, you can buy a music NFT, and then in your profile, you have a collection of which sounds you collected. So it's sort of like a digital shelf, and you can scan through that. Then there's some gamification aspects, like you can become a big collector, then you get a badge that you're in the top 10. You can compete with other collectors. And what that does is other people will look at your collection and say, I really like that record, I'm going to check it out, and maybe I want to make it part of my collection. And then this kind of like causes also a chain reaction. You get on Twitter, you talk about it, you message someone that you want to find out more about it. There's a really cool artist called TK. He's a rapper from the States, and he just dropped a 700 edition called Eternal Garden. It's a token-gated community, token-gated access to his album. It's 7 tracks, and it's an audio-visual experience. So you could buy one of these 700, and then if you had that token, you could get the 7 tracks. You could get the backstory to it. You could understand what that artist is trying to sell, sort of like a concept album, if you like that sort of stuff. If anyone is familiar with Coed and Cambria, they're one of those bands that I also really like doing that. And you're a verified member of the community. What I also just said is the artists know not directly that you bought it, but what is happening a lot is, and this is an example from myself. So a few days ago, I bought a music NFT from an artist called Leg Honey, and I immediately got a message from him on Twitter, because he knew my wallet address, because I'm collecting on Sound, so you can connect your wallet address to your sound.xyz profile. And he went out of his way, and like in a matter of 10 minutes, he just sent this tweet to me saying, hey, can we talk? Can you follow me back? I want to DM you and say thanks for picking up that song. That means so much, and you don't know how. And it can also become a valuable piece of history. So we got this one artist called Josh Savage. He put out a love letter collection. I think it was a few thousand pieces a few months ago. And a collectible is now worth 5x as much. So because he's also been growing his fan base, he's becoming a bit more known. So when people bought it like 6 months ago, it was not that much because the mint price was quite low, but it's now a valuable collectible item. And I want to tell you about this one here, which also kind of proves the scarcity aspect of music. So I bought this vinyl record from super random, Eric the Viking. It was a movie in the 90s. And I bought this for $25. And it has an autograph on it from Terry Jones. I don't know if you know Terry Jones, but he's deceased now. He was part of Monty Python. And I bought it for 25, and now I'm thinking, okay, it has the autograph on it. There must be some scarcity to it. First off, how many Eric the Viking records are existing in that pressing? Second of all, what's the scarcity on the Eric the Viking vinyl with an autograph of Terry Jones that you got from a movie premiere? And that when it really hits you, that proving scarcity of assets is a lot easier with digital assets compared to physical ones. Because now it's sort of this insider knowledge that you need to have to say, if you go into a record store, okay, this album has 500 pressings. Yeah, of course, it's a scarce asset. I'm gonna buy it. No one knows that. Only the real ones with insider knowledge know that are doing extensive research. So you're kind of switching from an insider knowledge to widespread knowledge, because you can take a look at the collection online, the NFT collection, and you know how many are existing to know how scarce it is. And beyond collecting, we can also collaborate. And we really should, because collaborating is about creative expression. One thing how we're going to collaborate is with artists in the future. This is a nice audiovisual experience from Mike Shinoda from Linkin Park. So he had this NFT and he dropped it. And there's an application behind it that you can play with different parts of the song, and you can do your own remix and you can mint it afterwards. Portrait XO, she's an artist who plays around with audio and visual works with different traditional and non-traditional methods. But she also uses AI, for instance. She did an AI music album drop on 12. But the thing is, music will not only be driven by artists, it will also be driven by us, every one of you in the future, if you decide to do that. There's AI-generative music tools like sounddraw.io that are kind of rivaling, I wouldn't say they're rivaling the industry, but they are giving people the opportunity to creatively express themselves. And what that does is, if you have a wedding or if you have a birthday or you meet a friend, what you can do is you can create a memory for that friend and say, hey, I made you a song through AI. This is pretty cool. Or in 10 years' time in the future, you're going to be talking to your buddies in school and say, hey, I did this song. Do you want to remix it? Or do you want to add a new part? And that's how people that do not have any talent in playing an instrument actually become a part of the industry, because they can use this gamification aspect of music. This one is really cool. It's called Weave Music. It's from a hip-hop New Orleans artist collective. And these different things here, they're stems. So you have different basses, you have different drums. You got some effects, some loops, and some vocals. And what you can do with it is you can choose one of these ones, however you want to that song to sound like, and then you can mint it afterwards, and it's yours. So you're creatively expressing how you want to imagine that original song to be for an artist. And I want to close with, it's up to us, right? Music will be whatever we imagine it to be in the future. If you want, we've got some POAPs that we're gonna give out, which kind of give out three different motives. Music is more than streaming. Music can be more than 12%, and music is more than a T-shirt. So if you want to collect that, we'd be happy to talk to you. Thank you.